everyone. I am Lily Mae, and welcome to another Glambitious podcast episode. For Women's History Month, the theme was Top Voices of 2026. And so I'm excited to bring someone all the way from the UK to the platform. If this is your first time tuning in, make sure you visit hervisibility.com. Again, that's hervisibility.com to check out the opportunities I have to help you expand your visibility, your brand, and your impact. Without further ado, Miss Sonia, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about who you are and the work that you do.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lily May. Really excited to be here, all the way from the UK, as you said. I'm Sonia May Eldergill, and I am a confident and identity coach, and I activate women partners of alcoholics to stop coping and start choosing themselves to live a thriving and fulfilled life. So I'm talking about 20 years lived experience of a wife of an alcoholic. He's now 10 years sober. And I want to really be the champion of those women to elevate their voices, to help them reclaim their identity and gain more confidence so that they can thrive and know that they can live a fulfilled life rather than just coping
Mm.
with their lot.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What was your relationship like with yourself before you became a coach?
I've always grown up in a household where I never really fitted in. I knew that I had something more to give, even as a child. I remember thinking when I used to always get silenced by my parents, my voice was always loudest, the most, I was always the most vibrant one in the household. And coming from parents who are very conservative, um, and being a young woman in the household, I was always taught that, I need to keep quiet, not express my own personality. So I knew from a young age that even though I didn't fit in, my confidence levels wasn't always there. So I never really used my voice in the way I should have done. I wasn't able to express my true authentic self. So I've grown up, fast forward in my adult life, thinking that this programming is the way it's going to be. Until I started the work that I do, um, it was really the catalyst for me to find my true self, be the confident woman that I was always meant to be, and knowing my true worth and self honoring myself and showing myself some love as well.
Yes, it's so much freedom in being your full true self. And I think so many women don't realize that it's programming and programming by
Mm,
society or family or childhood that really, silences us or
mm,
makes us cower
yeah,
down a little bit or shrink
mm,
down. I'm a person with a big personality as well. And there's definitely been times where I ask myself, am I too much? Am I too loud?
mm.
Is my laugh too loud? But it's just who God designed me to be. And I love that
Exactly.
you're helping people get back to who God designed them to be. Was there
Yes.
like a defining moment where you felt like you had to start choosing yourself?
Yeah, I think at my lowest, where I mean, living with somebody who has an addiction, um, it's a very silent and lonely existence. So I lived in a world of secrecy. I held down a 9 to 5 job. I managed high performing sales teams. But nobody knew really what my life was like behind closed doors. I had to learn to rebuild myself. I think it was at my lowest. It was really that was the turning point for me when I just thought, you know what, I'm worth more than this. It was almost like a spiritual awakening. I was literally walking to work one day, having got off the train, and a little voice in my head said, Sonia, you need to be the person you want to be. You are more than this. You are enough. You don't need to shrink um, and walk in somebody else's shadow. And that was the turning point, and that was the catalyst for me to start doing the work that I'm currently doing, which I love. I love to bring the best out of people, particularly women. I think the world is going crazy right now. I think it's more important, more than ever, now that women need to use their voices for good and reclaim their power as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what did self-love look like for you in the earlier stages?
Self-love for me, I didn't like myself. It was a lot of self-loathing. I didn't think that I was good enough. I didn't think that my husband found me attractive, but I didn't realize at the time that it was the addiction that was causing him to think the way and act and behave the way he did towards me. So there's a lot of self-loathing. I turned to food as an outlet to feel loved and to get comfort from that. So I had a terrible relationship with food and my body. So self-love didn't really exist at that time for me.
Yeah, that's such an interesting point because I don't think people realize the emotional eating, what it really means, because
Mm,
it's such an easy grab when you're lonely, when you're sad, when you're feeling
it
defeated,
is.
when you've had a tough day. It's such an
Yeah.
easy grab. It's illegal,
Mm,
it's legal, it's not a substance,
yeah.
so people don't realize what it really means when we fall into
Mm,
that pattern of
yeah.
emotional eating, which I definitely have fallen into that. And I think most
Mm,
women have. And so I'm
yeah.
glad that you recognized at some point that, hey,
Mm,
this means something needs to be corrected. And so
exactly.
I'm glad that you got to that side of correcting it and figuring that out. Um,
Mm,
what part of your identity did you have to grieve before you could rebuild yourself?
yeah. The part of my identity that I grieved most was the woman that thought that she wasn't enough, the woman that thought that if she loved her husband enough, that he would change, the woman that thought that she could cure her husband's addiction, the woman that thought that she could fix him. So I became the detective. I became, looking through his phone, looking for evidence to catch him out, seeing whether he was drinking or not that particular day. I became the fixer, somebody who felt that it was her job to look after him, to care for him, and forsaken my own emotional needs and wants and desires, and all of my aspirational dreams just fell away because I spent so much time focusing on my husband. And I became the therapist. I became that person who felt that she needed to tell him what to do, how to do it, when to do it. So that was the woman that I grieved the most. And that was that was truly a painful situation to be in. But fast forward now, I'm thriving. I've found my purpose. He's 10 years sober. My life is peaceful, and I can put myself at front and center of everything that I do with his support as well. Life is completely done a 360 for me.
That is so amazing. And a lot of the things that you mentioned, I think people can resonate with, even if they don't have a partner struggling with alcoholism. I think as women, it is our nature to be a fixer. It is our nature to put ourselves last. It is our nature to be a therapist. I joke often because I'm single and I joke like, Lord, the guys that I'm dating, I feel like I have to be their therapist. If you want me to be a therapist, Lord, just say that. Okay. I'll go get my degree and get paid to do
Yeah.
it. And that's just our nature as women. We were created to nurture, but there has to be a balance so that we're not
Mm,
getting to a place of self-neglect, so that we're
exactly.
not, yeah,
Yes.
shrinking and
Mm,
getting burnt out and feeling discouraged and
yeah.
not operating in our purpose because we're mismanaging the gift that God gave us as nurturers. So I love that you're speaking on it, even from, your experience in a marriage with alcoholism, but it still resonates with women across the board because I think we can all relate to at some
Yeah.
given point putting ourselves last and putting
Mm,
others first and getting, in that space that you describe yourself being in. And
yeah.
so, also the grieving the past version of yourself, I think is also a very
Mm,
interesting conversation because that's what has to happen if you're going to walk into the light that God has called you to. You have to let that old you go. You have
yeah.
to let her go and embrace
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
empowered you. Would you
Exactly.
say?
Yeah, I would say that for absolutely. Letting go of all of my anger, my resentments, and I had to learn in order to walk through that fire, to get to the other side. I realized that I had to forgive him because I was holding on to so much anger, resentment, regret, shame, and the guilt. And once I let all of those go, I was able to move forward with my life and start rebuilding my own identity and finding my purpose and finding my joy and finding my happiness again and just having that serenity and that peace in my life. It was amazing.
Yes, that is important work that I feel like all women, need to do as it relates to forgiveness. I think that is
Yeah.
a very important, crucial step into, walking into where you're supposed to be. We have to
Mm,
forgive parents. We have to forgive society. We have to forgive teachers. We have to forgive romantic partners. There's a lot of forgiveness that has to happen so that we can be light and we can carry the light that God has put in us and, really show up fully. We have to be willing to forgive,
mm,
so many people in our past that may have not
exactly.
showed up in the way that we needed them to. So I
Yeah.
love that that's a part of, your story is that
Mm.
forgiveness. What would be your advice to someone, who's kind of in the place that you used to be where they're not their full self, they're not the happiest, they feel a little burnt out, they feel like, they're putting other people before them. What would be your advice to that woman?
If you're willing to do the inner work, because it mainly comes from a subconscious place, and learning, I would advise any woman to sit alone with yourself for some time during the day. Just take 1 hour out of your day. And I know we all live busy lives. Just take 1 hour out of your day, sit there, meditate, journal. Sometimes your anger and frustration needs to go somewhere, and writing it down is one of the best therapy that you can give yourself. And it's a gift to sit with yourself, know that you're worth it, know your worth, know that you have the power to be who you want to be. You don't have to wait for permission to move forward with your life, and just trust in you and know that you're worth everything and move
Absolutely.
forward. Yeah. And just
Yeah.
take the step, even though it can be fearful getting out of your comfort zone. But once you get to the other side, life is going to be so much better for you.
Absolutely. One of my favorite sayings is now is not your forever. So
Mm,
even if now it's a hard time or now,
mm,
things are not where you desire them to be, now is not your forever. And I feel like, we have like we have this universal thing where on January 1st is Happy New Year, but we
mm.
get to decide when we want our new year to start. And today
Exactly.
could be
Yeah.
that day where you say, you know
Yeah.
what? Happy New Year to me. I'm
Mm.
going to enter today being different.
Yes.
I'm going to take control of my future. I'm going to show up more, speak up more, and really do the things that I desire to do today. Happy New Year to me. So, Happy New
Yeah,
Year
exactly.
to everyone.
I agree. And even if you're having a bad day, you can start, it doesn't matter if you've woken up and you feel a little bit of sorts, you can start your day again over at any time during that day. You can say, do you know what? Okay, it didn't start well. Okay, I'm going to start over again. It could be midday. Just start your day over again.
That is such great advice. And that happens to me a lot because I'm not a morning person at all. So
Oh, really?
yeah, I wake up grumpy. And I don't know how that's going to work when I get married. How well that's going to
Fingers
work.
crossed it works.
Exactly. But I'm not a morning person. I've never been a morning person, even when I was a kid. So I wake
Yeah.
up grumpy, but I always reset my day. So it doesn't mean that I'm gonna have a bad day because I might wake up grumpy. Like you said,
Mm,
any point in the day we can, decide, okay, what should I do to bring myself joy to get out of
mm.
this funk? It could be going for a walk, going to get a smoothie, saying a prayer, journaling.
Exactly.
All the
Yeah.
things that you said, calling a friend that's going to make me laugh, like,
Mm,
we don't have to ever feel stuck in that space of, discouragement, grumpiness, irritation, whatever it is. We just have to be aware of it so that we
Mm.
can snap out of it and do something to
Yes.
shift things. So I love that you said
Hallelujah to that.
so tell everyone, how they can work with you, if there is a program that you have or, a
Yes.
website you want them to tap into, social media, things like that.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram or Facebook. Just hook me up. It's Sonia May Eldergill Coach on Instagram or Facebook. And I have a 12-week program for any woman who is ready to take the step to become more confident, reclaim her identity, and reclaim her peace and serenity. That's my program. So you can work with me on a one-to-one basis and for 12 weeks. But I do one-to-one short courses as well.
Awesome.
But just look me up on Facebook or Instagram. That's where you'll find me.
Okay, and tell them your name on Facebook and Instagram again.
Yeah, it's as it says, it's Sonia May Eldergill. That's Eldergill.
Perfect, perfect. And it's definitely going to be in the comments below in the caption. So if you're looking for information, I'll definitely put it below the video so that you could just click on it and stay connected with her and maybe hop on a call with her to discuss, where you are and the support you need. I'm sure that she'll be able to provide it. And that's another thing, in seasons of transition, you don't want to go through that season alone. You want to have someone like Sonya that can walk you through it, that has a program to help you so you don't have to go through anything alone. There are dynamic women like myself and Sonya who are here to really, walk you through and walk you to your new season. So thank you so much, Sonya, for hopping on
Thank
with
you,
me.
Lily May.
Yes,
Thank you so much for having me all the way from the UK. I
yes.
appreciate you.
I love my sisters that are in the UK. There's several that I've worked with. One actually flew all the way to Atlanta to participate in one of my events from the
Oh,
UK.
that's
So
amazing.
yes, I love my
Yeah.
UK sisters. Well,
Do you know,
again,
if you like, I will send you the my handles. Just
okay.
yeah, I'll do that. No problem.
Fantastic.
Thank
Fantastic. So we'll
you.
definitely have Science handles again in the comments and caption section below the video. Make sure you click them. And if this was your first time tuning in, I encourage you to visit hervisibility.com to join the email list and stay connected with all of the events and opportunities we have for women in business. Thank you again for tuning in to the
Thank
Glambitious
you.
podcast.